Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the appendix. We're going to talk about the emotions behind each symptom in the appendix. The appendix being that last part of the colon, that very end, that very tiny end of the colon. That's what the appendix is that little organ that has no function really. So when we talk about the emotions behind the appendix, we also need to understand the symbolism of the appendix. Every time we have a conflict, we have an issue or a symptom or a disease in our body, we have to look for that organ, that part of the body, and look for the symbolism of that organ. So then we can really understand what are the emotions behind. The appendix is, like I said, the very end, that tiny part of the colon that has no use really, has no function. So when we talk about emotions behind the appendix, we have to look for exactly that very end, the reserve, the last piece, the last reserve we have. We're talking about money most of the time. That very saving, we had that saving there and we had to use it. And that creates a conflict in us because we've been reserving this money. We've been reserving this for something else and we had to use it. And that creates a conflict. So when we have a conflict in the appendix, we have to look for exactly this. For that very last part of savings, of money, of anything. But most of the time, it's to do with money. But it can also be applied with a relationship. Let's say you have lost all your family members. The last person you have in your life is your husband, is your wife, and they have left you. And after they left you, you have an appendicitis. And that's because that was your very end, as your very last part, the very last piece, your reserve of love in your life. And that's when the appendicitis comes, when this person has left you and now you are empty. You have nothing. You don't have that reserve anymore. So this also happens, let's say you have a business and you have this last money to use and you don't want to use it, but you have to use it, otherwise you can't save that business. Or somebody rob you, they come to your business, they rob everything you had, even the last bit that you had, the last reserves that you had. Or you just had this bill or ticket to pay and you had to go and touch your savings because you didn't have any other money reserved. That was your reserve, that was your savings there, and now you have to use it to pay this ticket or this bill you have, or anything that makes you touch your last reserve, the very last part of you. So when you have a conflict or an appendicitis, or when you have a conflict in the appendix, you have to look for those emotions. So you have to look, like I always say, look when that started. When did that pain started? Look on that. And that's when you're going to know look on those emotions there. You also have to look in your family tree. Somebody that has lost everything. They have nothing. They ended up with nothing. It's always stories like that. When somebody suffers from appendicitis, it's because there's already many stories behind them of people that have lost everything. And they know already what it feels like to lose everything, even the last bit that you had. And that's when the appendicitis comes. Because when the person relieves a story similar to that, or they actually feel that they are losing everything, they feel that their life may go just like the other person in the family tree. Let's say your grandfather lost everything, even the last reserve he lost. And you already know how he struggled after that. So when you lose your last reserve, your very end, you feel that your life may go just like his. So that's when the appendix starts kicking. Anyways, I hope this video helps you, and if you like it, please like, share, subscribe, all of it. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye bye.